enshrined in our hearts, and also someone else with us who is firmly entrenched in our hearts. Another brother from Jamaica as well this year. Incidentally, both our honorees this year are from Jamaica, but Carl Walker has assured me that that is not necessarily going to be the case all the time. However, Mr. Winston Merritone Blake is internationally known. He's here with us as one of the icons to be honored this evening. We must again apologize for having started late and having encroached on Miss Louise and Mr. Coverley's time because they have to take their medication. Mr. Coverley has to take his medication. So we want to say to Miss Lou, irrespective of the fact that it may not appear the proper thing to do, if it's becoming too pressing, I'm sure that my friend Winston will forgive you if you have to move while we're paying tribute to him. Okay? Okay. But we'll try to make it fast. Mr. Winston Blake, my namesake, my brother from Jamaica, has given to Jamaica something truly wonderful over the years. He has taken part of the Jamaican culture, the music, to the people in a way no other sound system has ever done. It's 50 years now since he has the Jamaican people in the palm of his hands. Not just the Jamaican people at home, but the Jamaican people in the diaspora. Wherever Jamaicans are, can be found, they know of Winston Blake. If you go to New York City, to Miami, to LA, to London, wherever, here in Toronto, in Victoria, British Columbia, Winston Blake is known. Not just a pretty face, but someone who brings a classic way of bringing the music for or entertainment in a classic way. And he started out in Morant Bay in 1950, playing music, and people loved it. Then his popularity grew, and he went to Kingston in 1962 on a gig. But when he got to Kingston with no intention to be overwhelmed by the city, but rather to play and go back to Morant Bay, he found that the people who listened to him would not let him leave. They say, we love this man. We have never heard music presented this way. It was a time, as we know, of the great big sound systems in Jamaica at the time. You remember Duke Reed, Count Bell's the president, Coxsone Downbeat, you name the big sound systems in Jamaica. And the dancehall was king. But for those of us who were born in Jamaica, who were around that time, we know of the class dichotomy where dancehall music is supposed to represent a certain class, and certain people were not encouraged to go to these dances. And, you know, people, your children might get hurt there or whatever, but Winston took the music to the people in a way that cuts across class lines. And that's what made him so popular and so irreplaceable and so special. That's one of the reasons why he's being honored today. He broke down the class lines. Now, that 1962 gig forced him to recognize the embrace he had in the city of Kingston. His popularity zoomed, and he was now starting to take out and eke out in the city and the environs a niche for himself, a special presentation of sound system music. You could hear him from the hills in Stony Hill, from a place we called Peyton Place. I used to go there with my girlfriend to dance in the 60s, up in the mountains. Middle-class kids from the city are zooming uptown on the weekend to get a seat. And Peyton Place was, I think it was a school, Winston, I believe, in my recollection. And you get there early or you don't get in at all. We saw Winston at the Copacabana in the city. And you better make sure you get there early, you can't get in. The magical way in which he presented the sound, you had to hear it. And if you're not in, you wouldn't know about it, but that's what was happening. The VIP in Kingston, Winston Blake, Merritone, was taking over the city. And then Winston realized that, look, we have to settle this thing down and put it somewhere where I can be located in a place that's mine. And He, in 1973, I believe, opened a club called the Turntable on the Red Hills Road in Kingston, 1973. Now listen to this. If you're not Jamaican, and if you're not part of that history, if you've not been part of that cultural movement, Winston, from 1973 until now, has what we call the Oldies Night on Thursdays. Every Thursday you go to Turntable, it's Oldies Night. All you're hearing are oldies. You better go there early or you will not get in. He has not had a bad night since 1973. Check that out. Rain or shine, you better believe it. And it's not because they love his pretty face. It's because he has a formula that is guaranteed to make you want to come back for more and more. I know many friends who leave North America landing in Jamaica on a Thursday, even going to the country, and saying, I am not going to the country until I go to Turntable, without going home, because they may not get the chance to come back. That's the magic of the man and his contribution to giving to the Jamaican people, or presenting on the plate to the Jamaican people their music in a way that is irresistible, that is one of a kind. Indeed. And Winston would tell you that his father died in 1956. But before he died, he indicated to them that, look, I'm leaving you guys, he and his brother Trevor, this car and this music. Pick your choice. They picked the music, 1956. And that was wise, because in picking that legacy of his father, he has not kept it to himself. He has given it to the world. It is really difficult for me to understand, though he's my friend, how it is that he can be in North America, in England, everywhere in the world, performing to Jamaican people who've grown up on this music. Almost every weekend he's away from Jamaica. I mean, I would say every weekend. You're not going to get a booking from Winston now if you want something happening in December, maybe next year, maybe for 3 years he's booked out. How does he do it? Why does he do it? Now, he has a formula that cannot be duplicated. We say that because it is true. And people come back for more and more. Winston has given to the Jamaican people, to the world, entertainment that is one of a kind. And we honor him here today. Now, Winston was also the Merritone. When we say Winston, we say Merritone because it is a combination of himself and his brother Trevor. And when he's not here, his brother Trevor is holding the Turntable Club in Kingston together. And if you're hearing Merritone at his best, because he'll be playing here tonight at 8 o'clock, so don't think you're going away. We're going to dance to Merritone here tonight at 8 o'clock. It's a digression which is necessary. Winston's brother is holding the fort in Kingston, and the people are swinging to the same magic. It's a formula. And if the team, if Winston is not there, his brother is not there, Winston and his brother made sure that they train young people to play the music the way they play it. I have been there, I have seen it, and it's magical to see young people, 19-year-old boys, that they train when they can relax, playing the music you've never heard. The 1950s classics that you think a young person would know, and they're not missing a beat. That's a formula that cannot be repeated. And I don't know if it's a secret. I've never heard it outside of the Winston clique. That formula was magical. So we honor him for that today. And so he was the first. Merritone was the first sound system that went abroad. Now we hear the big sounds going to come into Canada, all over the States these days, but it was Merritone, first sound system that exported the music in a classic way. That's Merritone. Merritone was the first sound system, and the only one since that has influenced radio play in Jamaica, and not the other way around. Not radio influencing what he plays. The way he plays music has been copied by radio DJs and the radio industry in Jamaica. It's part of the history. That may be one of the reasons too why Winston was honored with the OD by the government in Jamaica. Winston Blake, Merritone, has given to the Jamaican people, to the world, class presentation of the Jamaican music in an atmosphere which is uniquely Jamaican, uniquely Merritone. It is something that we love, we want to preserve that. We honor him today, and Merritone as a whole, the sound system Merritone is more than a sound system, it's a culture, it's a movement. We want to remember that he's giving to us something that no one else could give to us but him. There's no second Merritone. If Merritone is not on the scene, you cannot get that Merritone magic. If you stay long enough this evening, you will see what that magic is. This year is his 50th anniversary, the 50th anniversary for Merritone. There's big celebrations in Kingston and in Trelawney, I believe, right? Look out for the advertising, and let's go to Jamaica and rock with Winston this year. So ladies and gentlemen, there's much to be said about Winston. Winston, who had the great honor of a wonderful wife who passed away last year, I believe, Winston, early last year. Cynthia Sloss, one of Jamaica's great balladeers. She died young, but she has given us a wealth of good music. Not a great deal of music in terms of hundreds of LPs, but quality music. And so the family tradition of giving, of sharing this music, this magic, continues. And we want to ask at this moment, in our tribute to him and to Merritone, Carol Walker herself, to come and make the presentation to Winston Merritone Blake, OD, right here. Let's hear it for Winston Blake and Carol Walker.
Thanks very much, Milton. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out this evening today to share this very special day with us. It is very, very ironic that the organization that is honoring our two awardees who are so similar in terms of the work that they've done throughout the years is Suia Enterprises. Okay, and if you notice the dialect in the name of the company, and it really attests to our commitment to uphold the culture and to preserve the legacy that is truly rich and Jamaican, you know? Winston Blake, I know Milton gave a very thorough background on the work that Mr. Blake has been doing over the years. But today we honor him primarily because of the fact that he has sustained and maintained 50 years in the business of clean, you know, class representation of Jamaican culture, okay? If you can imagine, in a time like now where reggae music is and the kind of negative, you know, image that the reggae music has been getting over the years, and when you look at someone who's been in the business for 50 years, and you can actually go, there is no history of war, fight, bottles being thrown, guns being drawn, or anything. It's just good, clean, solid fun. And I think that is worth celebration. And that is what we celebrate today, okay? You know, he has done a lot of work, not only in Jamaica, and a lot of times people say, well, you know, he's here almost every weekend, but he's really one of the few people that put back into our community, okay? Just recently, for example, when the BATSI, which is a grassroots organization, right, was in some difficulty, Merritone was there for them. When the Jamaican Canadian Association was looking for help to pay down their bank loan in that new building that they got, Merritone was there. And when they walked away from that dance that night, and that Monday morning they went to the back with $15,000 towards that loan, okay? So this is not somebody who just takes or say, you know, he put his money where his mouth is. He walks the walk, okay? So this is work celebration. I mean, the work of the Honorable Louise Bennett-Coverley is well documented, and we know that. But you know, I find that a lot of people are not very familiar with the kind of work that Mr. Blake has been doing over the years. For example, I don't know how many people know that he produced people like Upton Lewis, you know, brought them into the business. I don't know how many people know that he is behind people like Beres Hammond. I don't know how many people know that people like Lloyd Parks and We the People, you know, the president of the Jamaica Federation of Musicians, Mr. Desmond Young. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, and his wife, his beautiful wife, the late wife we just lost a year ago, he produced her, which is very similar to Mr. Coverley and Mrs. Coverley. You know, so our two guests of honor today has a lot in common. But we honor them primarily for their longevity, their commitment, you know, the hard work, and their resilience in terms of, you know, maintaining, because it's not easy. It's not easy to maintain quality. You know, you come up on a lot of fights. When you're doing the right thing, it doesn't happen easy, you know? So it's the reason that we celebrate them today, and I'm really very blessed. I think that this project, we have gone through a lot, and I must apologize for the level of disorganization that happened here today with people not, you know, but it's the first year, and we promise you that it will get better. It's growing pains, okay? And I think that we are a very blessed project, because we were able to pull it off, and look at all the beautiful people and our wonderful guest of honor. And without further ado, I'm just going to present Mr. Blake with his award.
Come down here. Okay. This one, please. One more. Give me a She's gone.
I'd like to use this opportunity to say thanks to Carol and Sivia Productions for making this moment possible. But before I go on to that, I'd just like to say, as I wrote in the magazine, that just to be on a stage with Miss Lou is for me the greatest award that I've ever been given. I remember as a boy, living in St. Mary, Luckhill, Goshen, Miss Lou, they would visit the government schools like once or twice a year. And the word would get around that Miss Lou was coming. She drove a blue Vauxhall. And we lived on a hill. And everybody would be on a lookout to see who's the Miss Lou first. So we look at the hill, and like, where we were, you could see a car like for 2 miles away before it got into the town. On the top of the hill above me, I think her best friend lived, Miss Lily Burke. And Miss Lou stay there sometimes. And we would look out there, and when we saw the car, everyone would say, Miss Lou, and everybody would run. And I learned the village. And everybody would run behind the car to wherever it stopped or whatever it is. But that was the sort of reaction that she got from me as a child. And I grew up respecting this lady. We've always discussed that Miss Lou should definitely be among those who we deem national heroes. Because, for sure, if there is any icon that is accessible to us in our time, it has been Miss Lou. You know, and Miss Lou knows that I love her. Because I keep in touch with her, and it's always my greatest pleasure and honor just to be in our room with Miss Lou. When she lived in Miami, I introduced her to garlic crab. And I could not make a trip to Miami and not carry garlic like Miss Lou. And so I was very saddened when I heard she was coming to Toronto, because I know those garlic crab trips would definitely cease. But I still continue to be with them whenever I can. Mas Eric, And Miss Lou, one night I sat down and I was inspired and I wrote about a 10-15 page letter to Miss Lou, just telling her how much I felt about her and her contribution to work. So for me, whatever is happening for me today is, I'm appreciative of it. But to me, the greatest honor for me is just to be here, to be on the stage, and to be beside Miss Lou in living color. Before I leave, I just would like to say thanks to my father, Winston Blake, who started Merritone. Merritone started out of shared economics. It was the 1950s, and he had 4 sons. It was a time in Jamaica when only 2 children in a parish got scholarships. So in a one old parish, you got 2 children were getting a government scholarship to go forward. So if you didn't have a connection in town, like a relative or something like that, many children who were very bright could make that passage over to Kingston or other places to get further education. So basically, my father said to us, what do you think I could come up with to get some extra money so I could send you guys over to Kingston? Well, to keep us in Kingston, because we actually made the trip over to Kingston already. I went to Marsden in 1950, my brother went to KC. And the sound system was just starting about the time. There was a restaurant in Crossroads owned by a guy named Mr. Chin, who had a sound system called Skyrocket, and then we used to go over there in the evening and listen to this sound. So when my father asked us, we said, why you don't start the sound system? He said, what do you know about sound system? I said, we just hear about it, man. We really don't know anything about it, because we couldn't tell him that we were listening to the sound system and we were supposed to go to school. So, to cut a long story short, we sold an idea of getting into the music business. At that time, it was not regarded as anything very special for you to get into. If you know, Jamaica is this class structure, middle class, top class, bottom class, whatever classes. So when we started the sound system, we had a really rough passage in terms of getting it into all the forums that were available. But eventually, because we were a very popular family, and we covered all stratas of the society, we were able to invite our friends from every level into the places we played, and that caused a great social upheaval in terms of people coming together in one place. And we did that in St. Thomas, we did that when we went to Kingston, and Merritone came alive because of that. I just want to thank Carol once more, and I want to thank all the people in Canada, because I've had some wonderful moments here. Some of my greatest attendances and some of my greatest joys, they have been here. I think we came here to play for the first time in 1974 at what is now called the Concert Hall, Massey Hall. That was our first gig here, when everybody used to live like downtown. And from that time, we've still been coming. And we just want to thank you all for making that possible. And as long as you keep coming out, we'll still keep coming. Take it to yourself. Thank you very much.
Let's hear it from Mr. Winston, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a camera and you need to take a picture, this is the time to take it. This is indeed the time. Capture the moment.
Something like that. Actually, not synchronizing perfectly. I had a problem once and to get back to Nike and I have to go back tomorrow. I want to picture this. Take a picture. Okay, look over here. Look over here.
the pictures and get a shake of the hand.
One more, just in case that one's spoiled. Let's go and drop it. Enjoy your boat. Enjoy your boat. Very great.
Who makes her way in? That's one that makes us way in. Out there.
Let the facial and you know them a bleach. When we take it out,